Hello everyone, welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith, and today we're playing through part 2 of the playthrough of Sword and Sorcery. In the last video, we actually did a couple things, two of which I want to talk about right now to square away in terms of rules. One that's crazy, and I didn't even notice it, and I don't think a majority of people that have played this for the first time have noticed it, although it is a forum on Board Game Geek, and that is, we're going to essentially, the easiest way to do this, to talk about these two really, is to kind of rewind the tape. So everyone has already watched part 1 if you're on this video already. So essentially we're going to rewind things back to when essentially these two individuals were back in this room. And this, by the way, this individual here, his name is Skeld. It's actually a K, and for some strange reason, from when I actually looked at his card from a distance, it looked like an H, and to me it almost still does, but it really is a K. So it's Skeld, all right? So I'm going to try my best to try to remember that going forward. But essentially, he was in this location right here. And when he went to this location after he grabbed his items from the stash, he was the first one to go in the turn in the last video. He came here, grabbed his stash items, we filled up his inventory. Then he moved to here. He used a free action to open the door, which then triggers a trap. The trap was a dart trap within 2 spaces. Now, let's clear that up right away. Okay, now there's actual black bordered walls right here that I didn't notice. So essentially, if I move this treasure card away, you'll notice if the door was here, within 2 would be this space and then this space. And they're denoted by the site markers, let you know whether or not there's differentiating spaces. But what I didn't realize was these black solid right here, black solid areas doesn't mean that these 2 spots are adjacent. There's actually a wall there. So to hit our guys in the back here, Almanor and Sameera, we'd actually have to have a range of within 3. So the darts actually went from the door to this area and didn't actually hit these 2 guys. So the 2 damage we took would have never happened. So the awesome news is we get to take them off of them. So that's the first thing. The second thing is he was hit. Skeld was actually hit with a dart, but then rolled and blocked it. So we're good there. The third thing, which is kind of crazy, way over here, you'll notice there's a shadow token. You'll look at that site marker, and you'll look at a site marker for this room when this door was open, and these actually connect. I know it sounds insane, but literally, if you draw a straight edge right across, it clears this corner by about like literally 2 millimeters or something. I went and checked on Board Game Geek, and it is actually confirmed to be line of sight. And I think a lot of people that have done playthroughs for this have missed it. I even missed it myself, but truthfully, when we open this door, we're supposed to resolve this shadow token. So what I'm going to do is I'm essentially going to be starting to play through last turn right now. So the only thing that's going to be a little bit out of whack, because we're going to play going forward from this point in time, is going to be the fact that these guys have already geared up. Sameera and Onamor have already grabbed their stuff, but we'll just talk about them grabbing their stuff as we play through it, because the last part's turn would have played out differently had we known something was spawning here. All right, so here we go. We're going to reveal this token here to find out what it is, and it is a gremlin. So we've got one gremlin, and again, that's just a gremlin icon, so it doesn't necessarily mean a gremlin, but we're going to have to bring one enemy into play because that associates itself with the enemy deck. So we're now going to reveal this card to find out. It is a gremlin because we know we created the enemy deck, and that was who it was. So we're trying to get this to focus. So the gremlin monster, he's going to be going after people priority-wise with coins. He has 5 coins to drop and 3 health to kill, so that's good. We're going to assign him to our hero, our active hero right now. So also, just so that I don't remember, I'm going to put these bookmarks back because we're essentially kind of redoing the first part of this a little differently. We're on Skeld's turn currently, so I'll leave the bookmarker up as well. So again, the gremlin would have actually been in play, so he'd be here. And then, of course, we actually have to put the gremlin into play. So the gremlin would show up way over here. It was the end of Skeld's turn, although he does have 1 more movement to spend because he was in this space, went 1 move. He grabbed with an action these items, and then he moved here. He used a free action to open the door, so I could move to here, but then that would open or activate this shadow token as well. and I think that'd be a poor choice. So I'm actually just going to keep him kind of covered behind that wall so that we only have to deal with the one revealed, and we're going to leave it like that. So now that his turn is done, we'll flip the bookmark over. So just for any confusion out there for anyone watching, we are essentially replaying the first part of this playthrough, but it's going to change a little bit because of the fact that this is revealed. It's going to change the outcome of things. So now that we're finished with the hero turn or portion of the battle phase, we move to the enemy phase. It says if there's an enemy in play, draw an encounter card. This is another reason why I wanted to replay this over, is because we need to draw encounter cards because there would have been an enemy in play. So we'll do that now to find out what happens. We got the fight card. Activate 3 enemies, shuffle the encounter deck with the discard pile, and then discard this card. So this card basically, being that it's the first one, is going to be just discarded and there'll be no shuffling to be had. So it's just going to be removed from the game, but it's going to activate this enemy here. He's a green gremlin, so we got to grab our green enemy scroll. We'll put that in front of us like so. And now we're going to go ahead with, based on our distance away. So the only person that he has line of sight to currently is to Skeld, and he's coming after whoever has the most coins, but as of right now, he's just going to try to get in range of somebody. So he's not within 0 spaces of anyone. No one's in his space. He's not 1 or 2 away. He's actually 1, 2, 3, 4 away. So he goes into this space right here. Oh, sorry, it's actually this one right here, nasty. So it says attack with stone and then move 2 areas. So he's going to chuck stones at me. And we know this is a legal shot because of the line of sight between the 2 sight markers. So when he does his stone attack, it comes at me for 2 damage, or I shouldn't say 2 damage, 2 hits are coming at me. And of course, they are not affected by the night phase whatsoever. Another thing that I want to do really quick is technically this treasure card wouldn't have come out either, so this should be flipped like this if we're really reverting back and replaying the last part. So I'm also going to just move this to the side. We'll be drawing this and putting it back out in a second anyway. Let's continue on. So we're going to do our attack on Shelled. He's going to be getting hit for 2. The cool thing is when he's defending, he gets a +1 on, so he's already blocked one of the hits with his shield. Now he needs to roll up to his defense dice. He has the ability to roll up to 3, but you only roll up to how many hits are being thrown against you. So it's just 1 dice roll to see if he can block the stones coming at him. And he doesn't, but maybe. Let's see what we have here. If we get a bolt, re-roll a defense die, and he did. So now we're going to go ahead and re-roll. You can only ever do that once. So this ends up being a hit. He actually does end up suffering a hit. Even though I got another bolt, you can only ever re-roll a dice once. So I do actually take a damage, sadly. So Skeld is going to take a hit. And then we are now done our activation of the green enemy, except for the fact that he will now move to areas closer to us. So he's going to head a little bit closer. This is nasty because now there's another enemy token, or shadow token I should say, with this gremlin waiting for the next turn, and we can officially say that his turn is done, the enemy turn is done. Now we move to the next hero. So who else do we want to go out there? Well, we got to make a decision here because we got to choose either Sameera or we want to have Onamor go out. Now, in terms of taking damage, Onamor would be better because he can drain life later. He also has a pretty deadly attack here, which would be really handy to use. I don't know, but the Battle Hammer is pretty insane too, so maybe I'll go with that. Maybe let's do Sameera first. So she would have essentially, and again, we're replaying the round that would have been done in the last part. She would have essentially moved here. She would have equipped all of her items for an action. And then she would have moved second right here. And then if I move a third one right here, the issue with that would be, I have to reveal that shadow token. Whereas if I don't go out there, then we're in a little bit better shape. So maybe I'm actually going to force them to kind of separate by stopping right there. So I'm gonna stop right there because there's no sight line connection to that one. There's a wall there, so these two will not connect. So that's going to be a good place to stop. I'm actually not going to have her attack. We're just going to end her turn there rather than having to deal with 2 enemies banding together in the same area. It's tough. Should I go out there? Maybe I should. It's kind of a waste. Although if I go out, I still don't have enough actions to get in. I don't have enough movement, I should say, to get into this location here. The other thing I want to mention, guys, when I'm going through this playthrough is that movement and combat in this game are considered actions, whereas, activities. And actions are considered things like, so for instance, this movement activity is considered an activity. This is a combat activity. This is an action activity. But then these are actual actions. So I hope I can get the terminology down that. It's a little bit weird compared to most dungeon crawlers. I'll do my best to kind of say that correctly. But essentially when I'm talking about movement right now, she's used 1, 2 of her movement activity. She has 1 more remaining. Should I put her here as the question to reveal the shadow token or not? That's the hard thing. She doesn't get an attack though, so maybe it's a stupid idea to stand out here. So I'm gonna keep her back here. We're gonna consider her turn done. So now we're gonna go ahead and flip this over. Of course, she already equipped herself up. And then now we have to reveal another encounter card because there is an enemy in play. Find out what happens. What did I get here? I got Scout. Activate 1 enemy. Good. Otherwise spawn an enemy. Good. That's a good card to get rid of because we activate 1 and we don't spawn somebody. So that's good. We'll discard this now. We're going to end up activating the only gremlin on the board. So as of right now, 2 spaces away. What are they going to do with 2? Is move to engage and attack with claws. So that's going to have this gremlin come in through the door into our area and attack us, which is not good. Claws allows him to roll 2 red dice. Now the question is, who is he targeting? Because there's 2 of us in this particular location. Typically you go for whoever has the most wounds when there's more than 1 in the same location. So if I'm looking at this correctly, and I just want to do a quick double check, because I actually have the sheet here in front of me. Yep, the most wounded. And thankfully the most wounded is actually the guy with the best ability to block. So here we go. We're going to try to defend against this. Now the really cool thing is I already have an automatic defense against the attack. So that's going to help me when it comes to this attack here. So he's targeting Skeld. Let's see what happens. He ends up missing on 1 die and hitting on another. Bolts don't mean anything in this particular case for this creature. Let's take a look to see what else happens. Thief. If claws attack, deals damage and discard a random coin. Well, I don't have any coins on Skeld, so we're good there, thankfully. And he only hit me for 1, but I blocked it with my shield, so no effect. We are okay. Awesome. All right, so we're good to go. And now we can move on to the 3rd hero in our play, which is Onamor. Now, the really cool thing is this guy's in my space now. So this, what would have happened now is I would have moved. I would have then equipped with an action all of my items here from the waypoint. And I would have definitely wanted to move in to do an attack on this green gremlin who has risked his life by coming in here with us. And what you'll notice now is we are dominating this space because we double it. And actually we doubled it even when he moved in for the first time. So we are now controlling it. We are now, yes, we're not controlling it, but we are not, but we are dominating it as well. So it's kind of like we're doing a little bit of both. And domination allows us to get 1 guaranteed hit. And what's really, really important about that guaranteed hit is it's going to basically nullify the knight -1 hit. Meaning that we go into this clean, we don't lose a hit when we go ahead and roll right now. Now when I use my staff, I get 3 blue dice for Onamor. He's going to get all ready to go with his staff and try to throw this as much damage. Hopefully we can get 3. If we do, we kill him. And what did we get? We ended up getting a hit, and a miss. Okay, so that's not exactly the best. Do we have ability to reroll anything? Once per round. Reroll 1 hit or defense die. Perfect. So I'm going to use this right now as a passive ability to reroll 1 of my dice, which is perfect. So I'm going to end up rerolling this one here. We're going to hope for a hit. We got it. So we got the 3 hits we needed. We also got the star symbol, which would have allowed us to bash him, but it's not really worthwhile because our 3 hits are going to actually clear him and kill him, which is awesome. So we end up killing the first gremlin to come out on the board, and the really cool thing is 5 coins will drop in his space, and this is where things get interesting. Now I could choose to have him pick it up, but we know that these gremlins are typically more attuned to going after individuals that have money, so I'm going to actually end up having my my strongest hit point character pick up that coin later instead of Onamor, because I want the focus and aggression to be on him versus the others. They're only 5 HP each, and he's 7. So he's got a little, well, he's got 6 now because of the hit. But regardless, he is now dead, so that's awesome. So this card can be removed, and we can take this card and move it over to the side. So that's awesome. And at this point now, the good thing about him killing him at the end of his turn is I've used 1 movement, 2 movement, I used an action to pick up all of his items essentially, and then now I'm gonna hold off and leave the coin there for somebody else to pick up. Now the question is, do I use one more movement to come out here? If I do so, it reveals the shadow token, which will get a shot at me. So that's kind of a silly idea. So I'm gonna stop it right there because this is a safe spot to stop. We're gonna go ahead and flip this token over, and now we'll move into the event phase. So this is where we would have come over here. We would have then revealed the event card, and we knew it was a treasure. So what's happening with all this playthrough is you might be wondering, why are you replaying all this stuff over again? Because it totally changed the outcome of what just happened. So I guess it's kind of cool. It can show you some of the replayability of the game depending on your choices. But in the first part of the video, we ended with, we ended the way we did in this video. We actually have already resolved and killed off one of the shadow tokens. There was so much of a change, it was such a big change that I thought I had to re-record this in order to show that, so that we're playing properly and correctly. So as of right now, this card would actually get flipped up and it would get put on top of this event deck. And not until the next event phase, which is the next round, would it move over here. So again, place a treasure card on the active hero's spot. So that's going to land right where the active hero is in the spot. So there's a coin in here as well as a treasure card. And we'll have our heroes we'll have to make some decisions as to who picks that stuff up off the ground as a free action in the next round. Because I don't really want Onamor to pick this up, or to pick up the coins. I want Skeld to be able to do it. So that's essentially that. Now we're now we're actually done. So now we'd essentially end the round and we would move to the time phase for the first time ever in terms of actually needing to do something. If we do, we have to take a look. So effects cleanup, powers refresh, powers cool down, soul enhancements, resurrections. Actually nothing applies. So because of that, we can skip it and move right back to the battle phase. And with that, we've already got ourselves situated technically for the second round of the game, because this video really was me just redoing the first round and correcting some of those mistakes so that there's no confusion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the video right now because this is a perfect time. We're in between rounds. In the next video, we'll pick up right where I left off here. If you have any questions or comments, let me know in the comments below. But hopefully this hopefully now with this video, we are all in sync. And I also want to make 100% sure that everyone understands that at the end of every hero activation, they go individually, like we went with Skeld, then we do an enemy turn, then we go with Sameera, then we do an enemy turn, then we go with Onamor, then an enemy turn. You only do those enemy turns if there actually is an enemy on the board. But say, for instance, there was a Gremlin out in play the entire time, there would be enemy phases happening for each of the 3 heroes. So really the game rewards you if you can kill the enemy early in the round, because then the next hero coming up doesn't have likely a hero phase to deal with when there's no enemies in play. So just to avoid any confusion with that, I thought I would show that all done in real time. So I hope you guys are enjoying the playthrough. It's awesome. Can't wait to go to this tile. I can't wait to check out this treasure, and I can't wait to move on to the next area to find out what we run into. So until next time, guys, keep on rolling solo.